Hello, and welcome back to Foos Entertainment. This time for my next review, and as promised, I am reviewing 2006's Southland Tells. Now, I did check, especially the version of the movie that I watched was premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in 2006. Very cool release, I might add. Very cool indeed. It has 2 discs. It does have the reverse slide for the art, but I never was a fan of the original artwork for this movie, so I do like this artwork. It comes with basically also a comic book inside of it. And this has a brand new 2K restoration on both cuts of the movie. It has the original DTS master converted to DTS HDMA 5.1 channel, which definitely helps the movie, and it is in the original 2.39.1 widescreen format, not modified to 2.4, which does make it a bit better looking. Lots of extras on this, obviously. Now, the difference between the theatrical cut and the Cannes Film Festival cut, which is my preferred version of the movie, is that the theatrical cut is 145 minutes long, and the Cannes Film Festival cut of the film is 158 minutes long. But that's not the only difference. Another big difference between the 2 cuts is you have far more of Movie's very brilliant original music he wrote for the movie in the film during the Cannes Film Festival cut of the movie than you do with the theatrical cut of the film. And Richard Kelly supervised the transfers on these cuts of the film personally. So the director approved, which makes it very cool. This is a limited edition. It is now since gone. You can still find Donnie Darko's limited edition in stores, but Southland Tells is gone now. So I'm very happy to own a copy of this. Now, the question this film always leaves you is, what do they mean by this is how the world ends, this is the way the world ends? What do they mean by that? Well, the way I look at it, they mean this is the way that the political world of capitalism ends. That's always how I kind of looked at it. Because, I mean, people give me crap about being an independent and hating conservatives and hating liberals and not even giving either side a chance. Well, when I look at it, just to go away just for a second from the movie, doesn't matter if you have socialism or capitalism. The end result is the same. Chaos. Because you can never please everybody. I mean, this is the point of independence. The point of being like me, a completely independent individual, is that you're trying to find a way to do the impossible, which is please everybody, and not just 50%. And that's the problem with capitalism. It only pleases 50%. Socialism only pleases 50%. So either way around, whether it be capitalism or socialism, or you guys there want to call it communism, you still got to deal with that other 50% that doesn't like you. So the end result is always going to be the same. It doesn't really matter if you have a Republican Party in office or a Democrat Party in office. The result's always going to be the same. You always are one hair short of a new revolutionary war. The reason why I say revolutionary war is for a different conversation, for something else, and I'm not going to have the conversation. I'm going to let somebody else have that conversation. Now let's go back to the movie. The movie is very much a political film about these type of challenging theme. The film stars Dwayne Johnson, Sean William Scott, and Sarah Michelle Gellar. This is the first real movie that Dwayne Johnson made. Before this, he just made critically unsuccessful movies like Scorpion King and The Rundown and Walking Tall, and really bad movies like that. Southland Tales was the first real serious movie he made, and he did a great job. And of course, Sean William Scott, he's always doing comedies. This was his first non-comedic role, and probably only non-comedic role I've ever seen him do, is this one. Sarah Michelle Gellar, I believe this was her last movie. I don't think she's actually been in anything since, and it has nothing to do with this movie. Sarah Michelle Gellar, as well as Freddie Prinze Jr., which are married and have children of their own, got disgusted by Hollywood and wanted to close the door on Hollywood, and that's why they're gone. So let's go ahead and go to the plot of the film, and I'm going to make it make sense to you, because anybody who watches the movie, it makes no sense. A movie star basically has memories they can't understand because he suffered from amnesia and doesn't remember anything, comes to the conclusion that he's some prophet, some messiah that's supposed to bring on the coming of Christ or some shit like that. And he follows this path that's laid upon him, and then he eventually finds out that he was the subject of a government experiment from ecologists that ruled the world government. That had to do with the missionary travel for the space-time continuum, to where literally there were two of them. One of them died, and that was the past version of him, and he's the future version of himself. And meanwhile, we discover as the viewers that Sean William Scott's character, he was a Metropolitan Police officer and military guy, basically went for the drift himself, and so there's two of him. And we always think they're twin brothers, but they're not. It's literally past and future versions of the same person. And there's this theory that the fourth dimension, which I guess is where they went, would collapse on itself and bring upon the apocalypse or a new evolution or a new coming of humanity or something. If the past version of oneself has physical contact with the future version of themselves in the same time and space, which is essentially what happens. But in a lot of ways, the theme that the film is trying to point out is the end of communism. Sorry, not the end of communism, the end of capitalism. That's kind of what I think he's talking about. With this crazy sci-fi movie in the vein of Blade Runner, I think he's really talking about the end of capitalism. And interpret it any way you want. The thing about this film, you can interpret it in so many different ways. This was made at the brink of the war on terrorism from 9/11, and this film was made. It's a very controversial film as a result of all of that. And people's fear of the Republican Party, and people thinking that the Democratic Party was the saviors. Of course, we saw what happened with that. They're not good at all either. They're evil too. They're all evil, man. Both sides. There's no better side. Everybody needs to stop lying to themselves, thinking that there is. And then, basically, that's how I perceive the movie, but you can perceive it any way you want. This was written and directed by Richard Kelly. who wrote and directed Donnie Darko. The film was presented in 2.39.1 widescreen. It has two cuts of the movie, the theatrical cut, which is 145 minutes long, and the Cannes Film Festival cut, which I watched, which is 158 minutes long. I do know the cut that I watched, the Cannes Film Festival cut, came out in 2006. Not quite sure if the theatrical cut did, though. Probably did. It has the original DTS lattice track that has been converted into a DTS HDMA sound source. Although it might have been the original sound source, it has a brand new 2K restoration, and boy, does it show. This film looks very, very, very good. It might be the best looking current Blu-ray I've ever seen. Now, it's not 4K Blu-ray. Those will always be this, but as far as a regular Blu-ray goes, this is probably one of the best I've ever seen. Which is typical for Arrow. Arrow does a great job on doing stuff like this. Yep, packed with a lot of extras. Of course, the Cannes Film Festival cut is not rated, although it does have a lot of R-rated material in it. My opinion of the film, I know what Richard Kelly was trying to do, and then with that, I think he's being a little biased, taking a side on things. If I would have made this movie, I would not have. But I like the flow of the movie. I like the score of the movie, because the entire score of the film is from the great artist Moby. Moby is one of my favorite artists to follow. I love his music. Which is another reason why I like the Cannes Film Festival version, not just because it makes more sense, but because the score is much more. And the audio is very good, very directional, a lot of good effects in it. Very well made, right, the sound source. And that's all the time we have for this review, and I'll see you guys next time.